Blake Production.
Yo, what is poppin' with the squad? So, we got some interesting news here with Wonderfi Technologies, and I want to bring this up here. So, we've been chatting about this stock for a while on my channel. Like, I'm talking since we were at around $1.80, $2 range. I remember playing this pump here, so that was around 250. That was also January 2022. We zoom like over a year later, and we're now way lower, significantly lower. Like if we're going from the very highs, this stock has made a 96% pullback, right? So for those of you who don't know what Wonderfi is, they're essentially just an exchange, right? They have an umbrella of exchanges and crypto related products. BitBuy is one of their exchanges, Coinberry is another one, and they have a Unify app, and that's essentially it gives retail investors access to a bunch of DeFi investments that is slowly starting to become a lot more popular as we, especially if you look into all the like Silicon Valley Bank shit, all this DeFi stuff becomes so much more interesting. So they also have a lot of other interesting things coming up. Like apparently they're going to make before the end of the year a crypto sports betting app. Now that's going to be super interesting, right? So today they come out with massive news, and the news is, I'm going to just read it so I don't get anything wrong here. Wonderfi, CoinSquare, and CoinSmart are combining to create Canada's largest regulated crypto asset trading platform with 1.65 million registered users. Altogether, the companies have combined over $17 billion in transactions since 2017, and they also have over $600 million in assets under custody, right? 1.65 million Canadians are in their user base. Okay, so these are just a few things I want to point out on why I was so bullish on Wonderfi in the first place. So it started off with it was just a guess, like an educated guess, right? So I understood that this company was trying to expand and be one of the first large regulated players in the industry. So you gotta look how you're playing with money, right? Like it's all about risk management. Like what if I was wrong? That's why you start off small and you dollar cost average when you're looking at the stock over a long period of time, right? So I was trading Wonderfi back at 229. I remember catching a nice little pump up to around like 260 or something like that. Just a small trade. But then the crypto bear market comes, and now we're looking at this stock close to like 95+% down, right? So from the very highs, it went down 96%, right? So when you're watching a stock for this long, you get to see all the different types of trends, right? We have this daily uptrend going on here, right? We break below major support levels, right? Right around here, the 212 range, we break below support, reject it, and continue a large downtrend. So this was essentially the large bear market in Wonderfi, right? We have this huge downtrend. We can't make higher highs. We can't make higher lows. We just continuously make lower highs and lower lows, right? So as we're watching this is from November 2021 to about November 2022, okay? So I was paying attention to it this whole time, still in the back of my head thinking this could be a really high risk, high reward play here. And I still do think it is, and I'll get into it. But what we're basically looking at here, we start to see large volume coming in. Okay, so that's very interesting, especially around lows when you see large volume coming in. Like, is there like insider buying? Is there big money making plays that we wouldn't know about as retail investors. These are things that are running through my head. So I start dollar cost averaging around here simply at 21 cents, right? Slowly dollar cost average, pick up a bunch of shares on my way down. Now, I don't know what's going to happen, but then this pump comes here. Okay, so we have a nice pump leading into a volume climax situation. If you look back in my videos, I've explained all of this technically pretty spot on. The volume climax signals a higher high, reversing this trend, which indicates like things could change from here on out. We still don't know. There needs to be follow through, etc. So we come back down, we get the news that there was a $5 million financing from a private company. Behind that news was the potential that CoinSquare and CoinSmart were going to come together with Wonderfi. So what happens? This is in the end of January. It's now April 3rd, and they come out with the news today that they are combining, creating this massive trading platform. Okay, so they are fully going through with becoming the largest exchange and a big player that is regulated in Canada. So this is very interesting, right? So from here, we can grow a lot further, especially if they continue to do the things that they're doing. From a technical perspective, I think it's interesting because you see the big volume coming in, and it's a way above average volume, and it's happened on several occasions here. Today being the largest volume day ever on this name. Now that doesn't mean it's just going to moon from here. By all means, that's definitely not the case. I highly doubt that that's going to happen. What we need to pay attention to now, right? We left a gap, and we've been talking about this gap in my previous videos for a while. So we have this gap here from 23.5 cents, and we topped out, right? We tried to recover as much as we could, but we could only make it back up to 21 cents. So there's a gap here. Today, we try to fill that gap and get rejected. This means there's still massive amount of probably insider selling going on at that range. We also leave a gap behind today from Friday. So now the likelihood that we have to fill this previous gap is there as well. So we want to look and see what happens in the next few weeks and months with Wonderfi in these two specific ranges. We held 13.5 as support, right? So we did get the higher low here. We come from a very low, we create that higher high, completely changing the characteristics of the stock in terms of the trend, right? Massive downtrend. This is the first higher high we've made since 2021, the top, right? So that's a long period of time. What we need to see now is potentially, and that's why I have this line out around November 2023, we could go through one full year of going sideways here, where we find a range from this low to this higher high of basically building up a accumulation zone here. That could very well be the case. So we need to be aware of that when we're looking to invest in Wonderfi. For shorter term technical analysis, what we want to see is how strong are the bulls going to hold. This, again, is the largest volume day ever. Are we going to hold, right? Could we hold this day and not break below? That will be very interesting to see. We develop a base and we break up, trying to close this previous gap from late January. Okay, so that's something that we need to pay attention to. That could be a scenario. Another scenario is that we continue downward, fill the gap that we made from today's news, because we still need to close all the BS that they are merging together, but I'm sure there's transactions that have to be closed to solidify it. Today was just the news. So we could see another pullback into this range, creating another higher low, right? So let's clone that. Let's say we make another higher low around this range, okay? So we could start to potentially get an ascending triangle going on. That's what I will be looking for here on this name now. That's what we're paying attention to. We need to see if we come back into this zone, refill this gap, but our main goal is to weaken this zone. And after we do, if we can, depending on how many outstanding shares there are at these levels, right? Because if the supply is a lot greater than the demand is right now, the stock won't go up. It's simple dynamics, right? So we need to pay attention to how Bitcoin reacts and how they do as promoting this, right? They need to start promoting that they're now the largest crypto trading platform in Canada and have a bunch of fucking assets behind them. I'm pretty sure Galaxy has upwards close to 2 billion. Again, my numbers could be off, but Wonderfi, from being a very small company, combining with these others, now have almost a billion, 0.6 of a billion in assets under custody. I do think this is very interesting. Congrats to anyone who did purchase around here. I think that's some big news for us. I also want to give a shout out. If you guys bought, I made a crypto related stock report, and I basically highlighted 4 major stocks that are crypto related, Wonderfi being one of them. In this report, I highlight the financials, what the company does, future outlook. I also throw in some details about what Bitcoin is very briefly to summarize it for people who don't know, and how mining impacts the industry, right? All these things, I summarize it along with my technical analysis inputs on 4 major stocks. If you happen to purchase one, big shout out to you. I thank you so much for the support. I've been working at this shit for years now, and to see some of these plays starting to work out and we're catching the bottoms and we're, really analyzing this shit together. If you want to join the Discord, you would see in there, but I really appreciate everyone for the support. I know this has been quite a long video, but I think it's worth it due to the big news that came out with Wonderfi, and I think if they do start to make it very big here, now is the time we need to pay attention more than ever. So have a good night, guys. I hope this was valuable to you in some sort of way. Easy.